So about 2 years ago, me and my girlfriend decided to go on a 2 month long backpacking track through trip through Europe. And the first place we stayed was Lisbon, Portugal. And we flew in and we were there for 2 days. And we were staying at this hostel for like a youth hostel. And we got told that every night they do a bar crawl to go to a bunch of bars out in Lisbon at night. And me, my girlfriend, and our new foreign friends all decided that would be super fun. So we went and we had a good time, went to a few places, and it ended at this club on the beach in Lisbon. And that's not really my scene. I don't really like clubs. So after about 15 minutes, I decided to go outside, to leave the group, go outside, and just hang out. And then I went to go back in the club, and the bouncer told me, "Sorry, once you leave the club, you're not allowed back in. You can only come in once." I don't know why they had that rule, but I accepted it. I sat down, and I decided that I could probably find my way back to the hostel. I didn't, in order to save money, I didn't get a phone plan. So I had my phone, but I couldn't look up directions or anything. But I thought it was a pretty easy walk. And I start walking, and I'm feeling pretty confident. Everything looks familiar. And then I take a left, and then another right, and then a left, and a left, and I'm like completely lost all of a sudden. I don't recognize anything. And I think, okay, if I just keep walking, I'll start to get my bearings down. It's only been like 20 minutes of walking. It's fine. And I'm walking, and then I realize there's no getting back on track. I'm completely lost. And at this point, it's like 3 in the morning on a Tuesday in Lisbon. So there's no one out. But I think, okay, now I just have to walk until I find somebody who can help me. And eventually I stumble upon first person I see is on a park bench. He's a white guy with big dreadlocks, and he's there with his friend and his dog. And so I walk up to them and I ask them for help. I tell them the name of my hostel. They pull out their phone and they look it up. And I knew I wasn't going to remember the directions, so I took a picture with my phone. And I thought, okay, now I have a picture of the map. I'll be able to get home. Perfect, no problem. And I start walking for a while and I get completely lost again. I'm looking at the phone, but in Lisbon, the streets are all super narrow. There's a bunch of alleyways and it's super late, and all the signs and directions are in Portuguese, obviously. So I get completely lost again. And so I'm walking, walking for a while. And then finally, I find the second person that I've ran into on this entire adventure. And it's a man sleeping, well, about to be asleep under an awning in a sleeping bag. And I walk up to him and I think, okay, well, this is a little bit of a long shot. But he speaks perfect English. He has a phone. He pulls out the phone. He does the same thing. He pulls up the directions. I take a picture. At this point, the directions are more complicated than the first ones. I was going completely the wrong direction. And so I think, okay, now I got it. I start walking, start following the directions, and just get completely lost again. I'm a little drunk. I'm a little tired, and I'm just completely lost. And so at this point, I start thinking like, start looking at which park benches look the most comfortable to sleep in, because I'm like, there's no way I'm getting home at this point. And I keep walking, and finally, I see the first car that I've seen in this entire time. It's been like an hour, and it's a taxi. And I wave him down super aggressively, and he comes, he gets me, and he knows where my hostel is, so he immediately starts driving. It's a super complicated drive. He's making I clearly made a lot of wrong turns, and it takes about 20 minutes. And halfway through the cab ride, I realize, oh, I reach into my pockets and realize I don't have any cash. And I'm like, oh crap! But I can't tell him. I need him to get me home, and then I can deal with it. So we get back. He pulls up, and I go, okay, can I please run up the stairs, grab some cash, run back and give it to you? And he's like, yeah, yeah, that's fine. And so I run up 6 flights of stairs, run to my little box, ignore all the people who saw me and were like, oh, we lost you. Where were you? I completely ignore them. Get my cash, run downstairs, give it to the taxi driver. He says, thank you. It's the best $6 I've ever spent in my entire life on a taxi ride. And I come inside and I see my girlfriend there and she's freaking out. And she's like, "Oh, what happened?" And I say, "Oh, I got lost. It took me like an hour to get home." And she told me that she walked home with the group and it was a 10-minute walk. You just had to take a straight line and then take a right and you were right there. It was a super easy walk. So I learned to be more careful, and if things do go wrong, to just kind of laugh it off, and at least it'll make a good story.